Coming up on this edition of the ZTV Sports Report, Ian Tayak and David Coy join Chris Kuhn for our Zips football midseason review, and Coach Croft joins us again for another segment of Coach's Corner. All coming up on the Sports Report. Welcome to this episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for Akron Zips athletics. I'm your host, Anna Tultz. We have the best dresser on UA's campus coming up, but let's look at the men's soccer team. Caleb Porter and the Zips visited Northern Illinois University on Saturday as they tried to stay undefeated in the MAC. Akron kept their perfect conference record going with a 2-0 win against NIU. Phil Fives and Ronaldo Brenes each scored, helping the Zips reach 4-0 in the MAC and a record of 9-1-2. The football team traveled to Athens after a loss to Bowling Green. Would the defense be able to keep the Bobcats at bay? The Zips kept it close against Ohio University, but they lost the game 34-28. Jawan Chisholm had a season high of 177 yards, and Dalton Williams threw 4 more touchdown passes, but it wasn't enough. One thing you'll see on the sidelines for Zips football as well as Zips basketball is the University of Akron's dance team. Our own Troy Taylor has more.
When most people are asked what they know about the University of Akron dance team, they all usually give the same response.
They do, well, both cheer and dance do football and basketball games. At football games, they both cheer on the sidelines. The dance team, they do like sideline dances when the band plays and cheer. There's like a good play going.
Alex Harvey has been the coach of the dance team for the past 2 years. She works hard to get her team ready for the Nationals competition in Daytona, Florida. The team works for months trying to perfect routines specialized for the competition, which focuses on the same 3 dance styles the team uses in their normal routines.
The dance team, the styles of dance that they do are jazz, hip hop, and pom. Most of the time they would dance to the music that's in today, but every once in a while we'll do a jazz routine to an older song like Higher Ground, Burn It to the Ground.
And how long does it take to master a new routine?
It just depends. Like most of the time it only takes like 1 practice to work on a routine. I try to get them learning a new routine each practice. We try to do a different dance each game.
But Alex wants to stress something more important to her dancers.
They are representing the university, so they're a big figure like for the university. People see them out, whether it's in classes, at a game, out in public, so they must always represent the university in a positive way.
For the ZTV Sports Report, I'm Troy Taylor.
And now we go from the women of the dance team to the Lady Zips on the pitch. For 8 straight games, the Zips have suffered nothing but heartbreaking 1-goal losses. Can they snap the break? And they were able to snap that losing streak in a 2-0 victory over Bowling Green. It was Kelly De Niro with the 2 goals for Akron, and Ashley Hughes had 2 assists. The women's volleyball team was at Northern Illinois to take on the Huskies. The Zips were 3-4 in the conference and were looking for a win to get to 500 in the MAC. The Zips took the Huskies to 5 sets, but were not able to get a win. Alex Coughlin had 17 kills and Tina Demetrius had 11. They are now 3-5 in the MAC. It's about that time for the breakdown of Akron athletics. I have the honor to turn it over to the man of style, Dee Harris, for our in-depth segment. Dee?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of our in-depth segment here on the Sports Report. I'm Dee Harris, and after missing you all last week, I'm glad to be back with you guys. I'm about as ready as you all are to see what's going on with our Zips, and let's see what's going on with all the other teams in the MAC. Let's jump into it. Aside from our Zips, a few other teams in the MAC hit the gridiron as Kent State's Golden Flashes got an impressive 31-17 victory over Army. We also saw Toledo, who just edged by Eastern Michigan 52-47. Also in a slobber knocker of an outing, Bowling Green puts Miami down for the count of 37-12. Checking out the MAC East standings, we've got Ohio at the top of the conference, sitting at 7-0. Right on their heels is UA rival Kent State, who are 5-1 and undefeated in the conference, followed by the 4-3 Bowling Green. And skipping down to 7th place is where we find our Zips after their most recent loss to Ohio on October 13th. Over in the West, Toledo holds down a #1 crown, 6-1 overall record. Manning the 2nd place is Northern Illinois, also at 6-1. Both teams are undefeated in conference play, and they are followed by Ball State, who have a record of 4-3. Jumping into the men's top 10 soccer rankings, we look at our top 3. With a record of 9-0-1, we find Maryland. At the 2 spot is North Carolina. Their Tar Heels are sitting with a record of 9-1-1. With our U of A Zips holding it down in 3rd place with a record of 9-1-2, and surely they're looking to climb for that #1 spot. Looking into the MAC East standings for volleyball, we find our Lady Zips in 3rd place with a record of 10-10 overall and 3-5 in conference play. And the top 2 is where we find Bowling Green and Ohio sitting at 13-7 and 12-8 respectively, while we find in the West Central Michigan on the top spot with a record of 12-7, followed by Northern Illinois with a record of 15-9. Below them is Western Michigan with a record of 13-8. Checking out the women's soccer standings, we have Miami of Ohio standing on top with a record of 8-0, and then Kent State is behind them with a record of 5-2-1, and behind them we find Ohio with a record of 2-4-1. In the West, we find Central Michigan with a record of 7-1-0. Then Eastern Michigan's trailing them with a record of 5-3-0, followed by Toledo, who stand with a record of 4-3-1. That's it for In Depth. I'm D. Harris. Back to you, Anna.
Coming up after the break, we take you to our football midseason review with Chris Kuhn, Ian Teague, and David Coy. You are watching the ZTV Sports Report.